Hey guys, Happy New Year. I know it's a little bit late, and the best time to probably post this video was in December or right after the New Year, but I'm going to choose to be kind to myself because life happens, and really, I wanted some time to really reflect on 2018 and to think about what I wanted to accomplish in 2019. Um, and a couple of things that I wanted to share that really had a big impact on me the past couple weeks was I got an email that was it was like from Zig Ziglar, and it was saying, uh, you know, you're at the top when. And then they had all these things that they listed out. But the one thing that stood out to me was when you are mature enough to delay gratification and when you shift your focus from your rights to your responsibilities. And I think that really stuck with me because 2018 was a great year. I had a lot of new experiences. I got to see a lot of different countries for the first time and just, travel, visit. And I think that after spending some time with my family in New York, it just kind of reminded me of like the meaning of life in a way, and just seeing how we all just like the love that was there and the sacrifice that we had for each other. It was really touching, and I think that it reminded me not to live for myself. So that was like one of the things that I kept in mind when I was making my goals. Another thing that I heard in the sermon the other day was we were talking about sowing and reaping and how it's just a reality. You tend to reap what you sow, and what you sow today is going to lead to a harvest in the future. And so it is so true, guys. Like, if you look at where you are in your life today, you probably could list a number of things that you did or didn't do that led you here, right? I mean, it's not down to a T, but it is some way intentional. And I was thinking about what I wanted to reap next year or in the next 5 or 10 years, and what I could be sowing now. And so with these two things in mind, I was just thinking about what I wanted to achieve in 2019 and beyond, and just start working on, changing those habits and, developing disciplines in certain areas. And I think that in 2018, I made a lot of progress. I think that I definitely learned a lot and I grew a lot. And I'm trying to, kick it up a notch this year. So whenever I do set my goals, I try to keep it somewhat balanced, my life somewhat balanced. So I look at 6, 7 areas of my life, spiritually, physically, relationally, professionally, financially, personally, and I guess socially, but that could fall into maybe relational or personal. But I try to look at these areas. So just real quick, I had heard before that if you write them down and you put them somewhere you can see them every day, and if you tell people and have that accountability, your chances of accomplishing those goals increase. So I have nothing to lose, I guess. If you're still here, then I guess here we go. As far as spiritually goes, I do intend to deepen my relationship with God, and stuff like just continuing to do devotionals in the morning before I check my email or read a text message, because I find that it does set the tone for the day, and it helps me to get in the right mindset. And sometimes if you do it with other people too, it's a great way to kind of, stay in touch and just see how everyone else is interpreting that and what's going on in their life. And I want to, and just wanting to get to know some other women better and just hear their stories and, encourage each other that way and just participate more, I guess, like make time to go to like church functions and stuff. So that's and journal and, just reflect and have more of that in my life. As far as physically goes, I think that I've been kind of maintaining, and that's been a great thing because I'm not like, doing the whole yo-yo thing. So it's sustainable. But one thing that I would want to push myself more on is to either pick up like a new skill or like take a new class. I haven't quite decided what that looks like, but if you have any ideas, I would like to hear them. But for me specifically, that looks like moving a little bit more, like walking at least a minimum of 3,000 to 6,000 steps a day. I mean, how hard can that be, right? I know I don't do that currently, but that's like a small goal. And then working out more consistently, at least 2 to 3 times a week instead of 1 to 2. And I know some of you might be surprised, but that's just kind of the reality is if I make it to the gym one day, it's like, woohoo, victory. So I would like to be more consistent and also eat healthier. I went from being a huge snacker, like just eating junk, to really be more aware of what I was putting in my body. So last year, I was starting to loosely count macros, and I did a little bit of intermittent fasting, and that was interesting. That was really nice to be aware of what you're eating and what your body wants. So this year, I think I want to maybe try to clean out some more junk and maybe and also like eat out less out of convenience. So this way I can learn to savor my food more and really enjoy eating what I'm eating, and also hoping that there will be more quality food that I'm putting in my body. And so that also forces me to have discipline in meal prepping. So that is a goal of mine. And if you see me eating out like at Arby's or something, you can smack me. What else? Okay, so relationally, I plan to be closer to my family. I think that it's a work in progress, and family is something you really can't take for granted. And some of you may know a little bit more about just how things were growing up, but with Asian families, like we weren't really touchy or expressive. And I think that being raised in like seeing Western ways of love, it was just kind of different. But I just plan to grow closer to my family and to just be more intentional with that, and like having dinner with them and visiting and stuff. And then as far as my business goes, I have a lot of business goals I'm not going to bore you with, but basically I've set goals to do at least a couple of commercial deals. I want to help at least 60 families with their buying or selling or investing needs this year, and also to make progress in my as far as like educating myself in the commercial real estate area, and developing more consistent disciplines, like just stuff like calling and following up and following through, and provide like upping that customer service. So I think that looks that's a very broad. If you have any ideas or questions, that could be a comment, or you can message me. We can talk more about that. Love to hear your thoughts and any insights you have. So financially, I think that I could definitely save more. Again, goes back to sowing and reaping, is when it comes to investing, you're definitely sowing seeds so that it, brings you more in the future. So I know that there are some areas in my life where I can maybe trim down. And I think my goals is to save more, to invest more, and also to educate myself in other ways of investing outside of real estate, because that's kind of all I know. But last year I really started to read and get to learn about history and stocks and precious metals and notes, and there's just so much you can invest in. Who would have thought? So just trying to make some wise decisions and to take 2 steps forward in that arena. And then as far as personal development goes, oh my goodness, I could go on this forever. But I plan to grow in my confidence, grow in self-love, and listen to more podcasts, and more importantly, just be there for people. Like, what is the point of of living if you don't have relationships and good relationships? And so I'm really thankful for the friends and family and the support that I do have, but I do want to also be available and have the time and the energy to celebrate with you guys, and also to support you guys when you're going through some tough times, and just be a better friend. I think that's kind of at the top of the list. And I think it's just so easy, especially when you are, striving forward in your career, that you just forget people sometimes. And I don't think that's healthy. And I just want to be intentional about that. So let's see. I still do want to travel. I think instead of going out of the country like once a quarter, maybe like once or twice. And I would love to go to Europe. I think that's my next stop. But yeah, those are kind of, I thought that was pretty general, and just wanted to share with you guys what's been on my mind and what my plans are for the year. And I look forward to hearing from you guys, and just checking in and seeing how life is treating you. And if you guys have any questions or any comments, share some of your goals with me. I'd love to hear. And if you see any overlap, maybe we can work together and hold each other accountable. So I hope you guys have a wonderful 2019. And thanks for watching, and we will talk again soon. Bye.